The Astros' talented roster plays an exciting brand of baseball that took them all the way to a World Series championship last year. And they're at it again this season, off to a hot start and holding first place in the American League West. The Giants are fresh off a winning homestand, and tonight the long road trip begins with a matchup against the defending world champs. In Houston, the home of the American League champions and then the World Series champion Astros. Tonight the Giants road trip begins. First of 8 games, the Giants and the Astros. Welcome to NBC Sports Bay Area, powered by Xfinity. Hello everyone, I'm John Miller for Jeremy Affelt. Our colleagues, Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Krukow, are on assignment. Now, this looks like a lopsided matchup tonight. The Astros have had the best pitching in Major League Baseball by far. They have allowed the fewest runs of any team through the first 48 games of the season in 50 years. And they've got the guy with the second best earned run average going tonight, Garrett Cole, tomorrow. The best ERA in baseball, that'll be Justin Verlander. The Giants are going with the rookie, Andy Suarez, and he has a lot of talent, a lot of ability, but he has struggled his last couple of times out. It seems almost like a lopsided matchup, Jeremy.
It does. You know, Suarez is a huge test for him. He's a young kid that came up. He created a lot of excitement. The league's made a little bit of an adjustment to him. He has to make that adjustment back. The key for him tonight is getting that secondary pitch over. He has a good breaking ball. He has a good sinker, but that secondary pitch, that breaking ball, he's got to throw for strikes against this offense tonight. And I think it'll give him an opportunity to have success. You have Cole, who has, you know, the second, like you said, the second best ERA in the American League, but they're going against the Giants, who have the best offensive numbers right now in the month of May. So it could be an interesting game either way. It could be a back and forth thing.
Giants have a few guys who have been very hot, including Brandon Belt, the player of the week last week. Stay tuned now. We'll take you to our NBC Sports Bay Area studios for an update right after this.
Bay Area is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family. Only at Jack in the Box.
It's beautiful outside, but warm and humid as you would expect here in Houston. The game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting Friday, May the 25th. That's this Friday. 83 degrees right now. Only a slight wind, 3 miles an hour. The humidity at 61%. The forecast mostly cloudy and sticky. And we have the roof closed indoors here at Minute Maid Park. The Giants batting order now brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be Gorkys Hernandez, left field. Andrew McCutchen back in there in right field. Buster Posey doing the catching. Brandon Belt, the National League Player of the Week last week. His overall average up to 313 after he hit 414 with 5 homers and 11 RBIs in 7 games. Longoria, third base. Brandon Crawford hitting 444 for the month of May at shortstop. Pablo Sandoval, the DH. Austin Jackson in center. Kelby Tomlinson at second base hitting 9th. Pitchers will not bat here in the American League ballpark. Interleague play. Garrett Cole on the mound. And he is ready to go to work here. 27-year-old right-hander. 6 feet 4 inches tall. And we are underway as he misses with ball 1. Cole off to a great start for his new team. Back to the screen. The count to Gorkys is now 1-1. The umpiring alignment, Tim Timmons calling the balls and strikes. Rob Drake at first. Mike Winters, the crew chief, at second. Mike Malinsky is the third base umpire. Off the right field line, foul. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Gorkys. Gorkys with 4 home runs this year, which that's pretty good. 86 at bats for anybody, but for Gorkys, the most he's ever hit in a big league season before for a whole season was 3. A bloop, shallow right, that's falling, and in there, base hit. Springer, the right fielder, came rushing forward.
Starting for the Astros this evening, as you can see, Garrett Cole 4-1 with 1.75, second in the AL, only to his teammate Justin Verlander, putting up a lot of innings, not very many hits, walked a few, but 93 punch-outs and 9 starts stands out to me. So that's strikeouts coming aplenty. He's going to throw a high-velocity fastball at 55% of the time, and his slider is his put-away. Throws an occasional curveball and changeup, but you're going to see a lot of velocity with a slider coming off that fastball, and you are going to see a few strikeouts, I assume, tonight.
He's right on the outside corner with that one to Andrew McCutchen. He's averaged nearly 14 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched.
Yeah, I was reading the thing on him today. It's his best in 6 years. In all of his years in baseball, this is his best.
That ball is hit well deep into center field, and it is caught by Kim. He just kept on going and finally left his feet and made the catch. Gorkys Hernandez back to first.
Impressive thing about Kemp making that play right there is that's a pretty good route right off the bat. Him being a second baseman by trade to come up to the big league level and make that adjustment and play center field for him. That was a pretty good route he took there to take that double away.
And another hard hit ball for Andrew McCutchen into an out. That ball left his bat at 103 miles an hour. Gorkys running as Buster bounces a foul off to the left. Strike 1.
Defense behind Cole tonight. American League leading defense and fielding percentage, as a matter of fact. J.D. Davis playing left. Kemp playing center. World Series 2017 World Series MVP George Springer playing right. Third to first, Bregman. Correa playing second. AL MVP Jose Altuve. Gurriel playing first, and Stassi catching.
Buster Posey, 306 batting average, 2 home runs. It's ball one. One ball, one strike to Buster. Hernandez led off with a bloop single to right, and then McCutcheon clobbered one to center that turned into an out. Now Buster. And it's one ball and two strikes. Garrett Cole made his major league debut for the Pirates against the Giants, and he beat them in Pittsburgh. Buster Posey has only 2 hits in 14 career at bats against him. Brandon Belt is the only current Giant ever to have hit a home run against Cole. You see his numbers against this big right-hander. It looks like a great trade for the Astros to get him. Gorkis is safely back to first. Hernandez has 2 steals only for the year. Second baseman Altuve is way over toward the middle, so the right side of the infield is pretty open. There you can see it. And he's way outside at 98 miles an hour. 2-2 now to Buster. Brandon Belt is on deck. Only 315 feet to the left field foul pole here. The wall is 18 feet high out there. Very shallow to left. Buster fouls one back off the top of the backstop and into the crowd. 2-2. Giants, of course, used to come in here every year when the Astros were a National League team. 2013, they moved to the American League. And now they are facing the Giants as the defending World Series champions. For the first time, they beat the Dodgers in the World Series. A check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strike 3.
Shows you how good that slider is. With a guy like Buster, he's a pretty good 2-strike hitter, and he kind of made him look a little silly there, swinging and missing at that. He wanted that slider over middle. I mean, that ball was almost in the batter's box of the left-hander, and it just broke so late he couldn't hold up his bat. You can see Buster was a little frustrated a little bit that he swung at that, but pretty good pitch. When you can throw 98, you can get away with that kind of stuff.
Now Brandon Belt, and they're going to the overshift. They're giving Belt all of the third base area. The second baseman Altuve is 20 feet or more into the outfield. Everybody has moved over to the right side except for Bregman. The third baseman is now at shortstop. Correa is now the second baseman, and Belt quickly behind in the count 0-2. A couple of swinging strikes here. Brandon Belt, 5 homers, 11 batted in the 7 games last week, and a .444 average for the week. National League Player of the Week, J.D. Martinez, a former Astro, now the Red Sox, was the American League Player of the Week. Also had 5 home runs. And Belt, the only current Giant ever to hit a home run against Cole. He's had 1 homer in 16 career at bats against him. Also 3 doubles. But he's behind here 0-2. Fastball up and away. Gorkis Hernandez led off the inning with a single, but he's still at first with 2 down. Longoria is on deck. Struck it out. Ball had a little cut to it.
I think that was a cutter.
Airlines. George Springer, World Series MVP last year. 292 average, right field. Alex Bregman, 264, third base. Jose Altuve, American League MVP last year at second base. Carlos Correa, the shortstop, hitting cleanup. Yuli Gurriel, the former Cuban All-Star at first base. J.D. Davis, left field. Evan Gattis is the DH. Max Stassi, the catcher. And Tony Kemp is the center fielder, hitting ninth against Andy Suarez. So here's Springer. Springer had a breakout year all the way around last year. Hit 34 home runs. And he takes a called strike, a fastball in there. Then he hit 5 home runs in the World Series. 5 home runs, 3 doubles, hit 379. He was the World Series MVP. And he had one of the all-time great World Series for power. That could have been called a strike right around the inside, but called a ball by Tim Timmons.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy that you could easily say in Game 7 made that game a lot easier for those guys to win. How he came out swinging and hitting 3-run shot, I think, off of Yu Darvish, I think, to kind of open it up early. He's always had power. It's just he hadn't stayed healthy very often. You know, he's been hurt a lot. And last year it seemed like he had a good year of staying healthy, and he's kind of coming to his own. He's a good leadoff hitter, and he'll hit homers out of the leadoff spot too. Right
back to Suarez, and Springer is retired, 1 away.
So you see Andrew Suarez's numbers 1-3 with 4.88 ERA, 27 innings pitched, 30 hits, 5 walks, 28 Ks. He will strike guys out. He gives up a lot of hits, but he does pitch to contact. He's a guy that you want to. He depends on his ground ball, like you saw earlier. And when he throws his fastball, it's more of it's a hard power sinker. He uses his cutter as almost as a secondary, occasional curveball changeup. I think he needs to start utilizing that curveball probably a little bit more as the league makes an adjustment to him. But you're going to see ground balls from him tonight.
Bregman. And there is Austin Jackson, out number 2. Hit that one right off the end of the bat. And now Altuve, last year's American League MVP.
Defense behind Suarez tonight. From left to right, Hernandez, Jackson, and McCutchen. Third to first, Longoria, Crawford, baseball's leading hitter in May, playing short. Kelby Tomlinson filling in for the hurt Panic, and the Giraffe Belt, Buster catching.
But here's Altuve. Called a strike. He got the call on that outside pitch. Altuve hitting 316. That is his career average. Last year, he hit 346 for the season. And the year before that, he hit 338. That is a broken bat foul. 0-2. Altuve. Remember, the Astros were still in the National League when Altuve first came up. And the main thing he was noted for was that he was just such a little guy, 5'6". But he gave the Giants some trouble. He and J.D. Martinez came up around the same time. And the Astros were in the midst of having a bad year. They lost 106 games that year. But little did we know that the makings of a World Series champion were already there, especially in Altuve.
Yeah, he was a guy. When you see a little guy like that, you don't think power. And he provides plenty of power. He became a really smart hitter. When I first saw him when he came up as a rookie, I didn't think he was going to be anything much. I thought he might just be kind of a guy that plays defense, maybe moves guys over. But, man, I'll tell you, he's turned into quite a player.
Excellent second baseman, steals bases. He pops this one up. And Tomlinson. That is the inning. So a strong first inning for Andy Suarez. The Giants have Longoria, then Crawford coming up.
you by Mr. Pickle's Sandwich Shop. Other joints are all bread and no beef. So get on over to Mr. Pickle's and get yourself a barbecue tri-tip sandwich.
We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston. I'm John Miller with Jeremy Affeldt, Dwayne Kuiper, and Mike Krukow on assignment. Day game here tomorrow. In fact, Pacific time, a morning start. 11:10 a.m. first pitch tomorrow. The fastball misses. Ball one to Evan Longoria. Longoria is facing Cole for the first time. And a foul back to the screen. A high fastball. 1-1. Here's Longoria. He's facing pitchers for the first time over and over and over again, being in a different league. Now he faces an American League team. And he's facing a pitcher that had been in the National League throughout his career.
Still impressive. Cole's 6 years into the big leagues. I think they would have faced off against each other at some point in interleague or something. But to face your first time facing a guy that's been in the league for 6 years, but you are right. Maybe it might be good for him. He doesn't have any history, so he doesn't, he doesn't know what's coming. He's just going to see it and hit it.
I think that's the best policy for a lot of hitters. Ask, who told me that? Pablo.
See it and hit it.
Or hit it even if you don't see it always. 1-2. Well, that's right into the defense. Juggled, and Altuve recovers and gets him. Time for Lowe's whole team together. The highest team batting average this month, May, in Major League Baseball. The Giants have hit .290 in the month of May. Cleveland in the American League, .271. Then the Cubs, .268. Kansas City, .267. And the Red Sox of the American League, .265. So the Giants far and away have been the best hitting team in the major leagues, but especially in the National League. Here's Brandon Crawford, the brother-in-law of Garrett Cole. 1-1. There's Amy, Crawford's sister, who married Garrett Cole. She was a former softball player at UCLA. Cole went to UCLA. Crawford went to UCLA.
I think they talked about that at dinner, possibly last night. Like, hey, I'm gonna throw two heaters. I'm gonna throw them hard, but I'm gonna throw them away. You take your best shot, and then after that, I'm gonna come after you. You think they maybe just kind of challenge each other that way, or you think they don't talk about it?
Well, there's a bloop, and it's in there, base hit.
Oh, Crawford's gonna be talking about that one.
Well, he's had his hits against Cole. That's Brandon's
She can't even
fifth hit.
clap. Look,
Fifth hit and 19 career at bats against him.
she can't even clap because she doesn't know what she's supposed to do. I don't really want to clap because I'm going against my husband, but I don't want to go against my brother either. How do you do that?
She said that even with her brother before she was married to Garrett Cole, she was so tense at the game. She was rooting so hard for Brandon to do well, and she knows how hard it is. There's Pablo showing bunt with nobody at third base. Cole came rushing over to cover up on that side, and it's ball one to Pablo Sandoval. Now the third baseman Bregman is going to move in a little bit and actually play some defense over near third base. Anyway, she says she doesn't overtly cheer either way when it's her husband against her brother. Pablo takes ball two. And for his point, Cole, there she is, Amy Cole now. She was Brandon's sister, Amy Crawford, now Amy Cole. But Garrett says that he roots big time for Brandon all year long, game after game, except when he's facing him. And then he says he tries to look at it just like any other game. You have the scouting report, you have a plan against him.
That's hard to do, though. It's still your brother-in-law. You still see him for Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Pablo fouls one back out of play, 2-2. Well, he says that they have the game and then they get together, have a meal as a family. But she says it's amazing how they're both able just to get rid of it no matter what happened in the actual game where they face each other.
Well, I mean, he had struck him out a lot.
it helps. Right, he struck him out like 5 or 6 times.
Five times and 19 at bats, and Crawford's had 5 hits against him. 2-2 to Pablo. Look out, way inside at 99 miles an hour.
I'm thinking Dad's pretty pumped though when Crawford gets a hit, because I mean it's your daughter, and you're like, you know, this guy married my daughter. You know how dads are with their daughters, and then they get the husband, they're like, he's not good enough for her. Crawford probably got a hit right there. He's like, that's right. He's not good enough for my daughter yet. Still giving up hits to my son. You know?
You're reading in a lot of things. There goes Crawford. Strike 3 to Pablo. Out at second. A strikeout in 2, an inning-ending double play. Correa will be coming up. Ford dealers. Earlier tonight, Giants hitting coach Alonzo Powell, who was the assistant hitting coach for the Astros last year, was presented with his World Series ring in 2017. A.J. Hinch, the manager, and Jim Crane was out there, the owner of the ball club, for this ceremony. There's a line drive to center and right to Austin Jackson and Carlos Correa, the outstanding Astros shortstop. They have 2 of the really great young shortstops in baseball in the American League right now, with Francisco Lindor of the Cleveland Indians and Carlos Correa here with the Astros.
They just played each other for the last 3 days here. So Houston crowd got to have a pretty good experience seeing those 2 guys play off against each other.
Here's Yuli Gurriel, a high foul. So they've been very aggressive early on in the count here against Andy Suarez. He had a 9-pitch first inning, retiring the side in order. Gurriel, he at one time maybe the best player in Cuba, and they had some good players. That's outside. And I remember doing games in the World Baseball Classic when that tournament first began, 2006 and again 2009. And there were teams in the Major League Baseball were lusting after him. There's a called strike, but he gave no indication that he would ever try to leave Cuba and make his way here. But finally he did. And Gurriel is now 34 years old, and he came here a couple of years ago, and he had a very strong season for the Astros. They primarily have him playing at first base. And he opened this year on the disabled list. Crawford far to his left. Throws him out. Gurriel moving pretty quickly up the first base line. Brandon Crawford got him. Gurriel hit .299 with 18 home runs and 43 doubles last year. So he was a valuable member of the Astros lineup a year ago. I don't know. Brandon sometimes makes plays look so easy that you don't even realize how difficult that play was.
That tells you how good of a player he is. When that play is not easy at all. Not only he's going to his left, but then he has to kind of shift his body to throw with his right hand and to hit on the spot on the run with the guy running up the line pretty fast. You know, he makes a lot of stuff amazingly.
He's going to his left and then kind of throwing back against the grain, as they say in the NFL. With a quarterback rolling out one direction, throwing back to the other. But he put it right there. It was a perfect throw. J.D. Davis, Astros left fielder, 25 years old. He's from Northern California, from Elk Grove. Just back to the big leagues on Sunday. A third-round draft choice for the Astros 4 years ago. Went to Cal State Fullerton. Went to Elk Grove High School and outside of Sacramento. And I always think about Elk Grove because that's where Bill Cartwright went to high school, the outstanding center at the University of San Francisco, who then played in the NBA for many, many years.
Yeah, that's what I thought too when I thought Elk Grove.
First thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
It's amazing how we think alike on so many levels. Here's a swinging strike three. So 2 perfect innings for Andy Suarez. Third inning, Austin Jackson coming up.
The week, the Giants are going to celebrate number 9 with $9 tickets for 9 hours only. $9 tickets for the Friday, June 1st game against the Phillies. Tickets are limited. Offer ends tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific. For tickets, visit sfgiants.com/belt and enter code BELT at checkout.
All right, and here we go to the third inning. Austin Jackson takes ball 1 from Garrett Cole. Jackson, 248 average. The third baseman, Bregman, plays him shallow. And that's called a strike. Fastball in there at 96 miles an hour.
It's amazing how they knew Belt was going to have the week he had to already run $9 tickets for 9 hours. Like, that promo is probably always out there, and they just knew he was going to do good this week. Huh?
So you think it was not just a coincidence, but it was actually dreamt up before he had the great week?
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure that is actually the way
they're instilling confidence.
There's a foul out of play. 2-2 the count. but it was quite a week. He won the Player of the Week once before, several years ago.
2013.
Five years ago. But this week, he had the big power numbers all at home. And for a left-handed hitter in particular, that is impressive. That should be 2 Players of the Week right there.
He even compared himself to Barry Bonds in the interview.
And there is strike 3 to Jackson. And there's 4 strikeouts already for Cole.
Pitchcast is brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company. See the fastball at 97 miles an hour on the outside black. Pretty tough to hit when it's down there and out there at 97.
So 1 out. Here's Kelby Tomlinson. And he takes a called strike. 0-0 score, 3rd inning. Garrett Cole coming into this game and pitched 61 2/3 innings for the year with 93 strikeouts. Fastball called strike 2. Cole, including this game, the Giants have 2 hits against him already. He's pitched 2 1/3 so far tonight. 64 innings for the year, 37 hits allowed. I think a lot of people around baseball, first thing they check when they look at a pitcher's numbers, the hits versus the innings pitched, and then the strikeouts. Those may be the first 2 things. Gives you an idea how tough is this guy to hit.
Well, he's real tough right now.
2 down.
He's selling it. That breaking ball is so far outside, but when you can throw 97 miles an hour on the down and away black like he did earlier, he can then throw that ball because he keeps the same arm speed, and guys have to commit because he throws so hard. He's getting those kind of swings. He got one from Buster earlier in the game, and he got one right there from Tomlinson.
Now the leadoff man, Gorkis Hernandez, one of the Giants to have gotten a hit against him. A bloop single to right field in the 1st inning. And it's ball 1. Gorkis hitting .287 now. 4 home runs. And that big curveball in there. Called a strike.
And he can mix that in there.
Max Scherzer this year, 14.3 strikeouts per 9. Then Cole, number 2 to him. High in the air to center. Kemp, a lot of room out there. It's 409 to straightaway center. And the Giants are gone in order. Evan Gattis will be coming up against Andy Suarez when we come back.
Rockies. Strickland comes up, throws a scud, and Buster Posey blocks it and throws an absolute missile to 3rd to get Trevor Story out at 3rd base for the last out of the game to end the game. What a way to end it. Threw it so hard, Trevor Story got hurt.
You don't see many games end quite like that. Evan Gaddis takes ball one from Andy Suarez. 0-0, last of the third. Gaddis, formerly in the National League with the Atlanta Braves, he has enormous power, but he is struggling, hitting only .209 so far this year. 4 home runs. Down the left field line. That's a fair ball. And Gaddis has a double.
You mentioned earlier, John, that these guys have come out and swung first pitch quite a bit already this game. With a guy like Suarez, he's going to throw strikes. He's going to lead balls like that over the middle. He depends on his movement, depends on that sinker. That's why guys are trying to get out in front of him and attack the ball. And that time it just didn't sink, and it stayed up enough for him to pull that ball down the line. There's not a lot of room over there. It's either going to be fair or foul. There's not, I mean, there's not like a gigantic space over there for it to go anywhere.
So a leadoff double here is Stassi. Dave Fleming is just down the hall over in the KNBR radio booth with Darren Chan. He'll be along for the middle 3 innings here on the TV side. Max Stassi, the hitter. Stassi overall hitting .281, but against lefties he's hitting .500. That one is into the gap and will put the Astros ahead. Gaddis will score. Jackson did a good job getting that ball back in and holding Stassi to a double, but it's 1-0 Houston.
And this will be Suarez's biggest test with an offense like this, his second time around. That ball is actually off the plate. It's just up. It's just up, belt high, and he could get the bat head to that ball and drive it into the right center gap. If that ball's down, he's not able to do that. But because it was up, he's able to get that barrel hit to the ball and put pretty good power behind that ball when he hits it.
Well, and seeing him hit it that way, you can see why Buster wanted that ball on the inside. That's where Buster's target was set up, and he missed right around the outside. Boom, 106 miles an hour off the bat for Stassi, who's now hitting .520, 13 for 25 against lefties for the year. So here's Tony Kemp trying to move that runner over. Shows bunt and takes ball one inside. Kemp has only had 12 at bats, 4 for 12 since being brought up. 5th round draft choice 5 years ago. AAA this year was hitting .335. There's the bunt. Suarez over to first, just in time. Look at the speed of Tony Kemp there. Tomlinson took the throw. Now a runner at third with 1 out. Stream the Giants on the go. Great news, Giants fans. This season, once again, you can stream every NBC Sports Bay Area Giants broadcast on your desktop or mobile device. Giants games streamed on the go on the NBC Sports app.
Another thing that makes Houston so dangerous is they will play small ball like that. You don't see a lot of American League teams doing sack bunts, moving guys over. A.J. Hinch being a manager, being a catcher in both American and National League. He plays a little bit of some mixed bag there with the team. And you'll see these guys bunt a lot of times late in the game. They'll still third late in the game. But even in this situation already in the bottom of the third, he did a sack bunt to get his guys into 90 feet away from scoring again. It's pretty rare in the American League.
Giants infield in halfway. And for Suarez, he'd love to get a strikeout here from Springer. But Springer, he's the leadoff man. But he's not your traditional idea of a leadoff man. He led the Astros in home runs last year with 34. And now he's trying to get that runner home one way or the other. Springer has 9 home runs so far this year. And he's ahead of the count, 2-0. 3-0. Bregman is on deck. He bounced one softly right back to Suarez his first time. So Suarez maybe not quite as sharp in this inning as he had been. in the first couple of innings. And he retired everybody he faced. Swing and a base hit. On a 3-0 pitch, Springer swung away and gets the RBI. 2-0 Astros.
Yeah, not trying to do too much with that 3-0 fastball. He saw it down and in, but he just tried to go right back up the middle, which is what a lot of right-handed hitters try to do off a sinker ball, left-handed sinker ballers. They try to think up the middle and trying to click that ball up the middle for a base hit, and if they run into something, they run into something. But like you said, Suarez doesn't seem as sharp, and that's a lot of times what happens with some of these young pitchers. They come out the gate, they come out pitching real well, they feel good, and then they can just lose that rhythm somehow. And they just can't sometimes replicate their delivery or make the same quality pitches that they were earlier. And that's something that he needs to learn to do, and he's got to stay focused. Every inning he's got to go out there and try to repeat what he's been doing and not do anything different. Seems like he's been missing location by 17 inches either way when Buster calls it. And it's hurt him a little bit this inning.
3 hits in the inning for the Astros. And Springer, who doesn't steal a lot, doesn't attempt to steal a lot, has only 1 steal this year, been thrown out twice. The batter is Bregman, another first round. He was the number 2 player in the whole draft chosen back in 2015, just 3 years ago. He's only 24 years old, out of LSU. And they've got the pitcher. Garrett Cole was the first player chosen in the draft. Not just the first round, but the first player back in 2011. Bregman was the second player. Carlos Correa, the shortstop, he was the first player chosen in the draft, 2012. And that's what they were doing. They had 3 of the worst seasons imaginable. 106 losses, 107 losses, 111 losses in 3 straight years. And they had the first draft choice all 3 of those years.
Well, you're seeing the fruits of that.
Buster keeps it in front of him.
Sometimes fans get upset when teams lose that kind of that amount of games year in and year out. And the real test for me for a team is if you lose that many games and you have those draft picks, you really need to have a good scouting department to be able to pull the right draft picks, because if you're going to get those top picks, you better get the right ones or it could hurt you. And they've won out most of the time. They had a couple, I think, Apple, or was it the kid that they drafted, pitched a couple years ago
from Stanford.
Kind of didn't work out. But,
Appel.
Yeah, Appel. But for the most part, I feel like most of these first rounders that they brought up, I mean, that put a ring on their finger last year, and they're starting to see a fruit, and they're young, and they've got a lot of life left in them and a lot of team left in them in their youth. So it's going to be interesting what they can do here year in and year out for Houston, city of Houston.
Springer was also a first-round draft choice, although they kind of started to tear it apart and go into rebuilding mode after the 2010 season, the year the Giants won the World Series, and the Astros still in the National League at that time, and they were getting older, and they thought, we can't win with these guys. We need to rebuild. And so they started trading all the veteran guys for the best talent they could get. But a first-round draft choice was Springer that year, 2011. And here's back in 2011, Garrett Cole, the number 1 pick in the whole draft. Springer was number 11. And Joe Panik of the Giants was a first-round draft choice, number 29 in that first round. Back to the screen. 3-2, and Springer, he had kind of a late break, but he did take off with that pitch. Alex Cintron, the first base coach, whispering to him. Cintron, remember he was a former infielder with the D-backs. Played many games against the Giants. He had some good years for Arizona too. Switch hitting infielder. Only 1 out. There he goes. That is down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Will go into the corner. Springer has excellent speed. He's going to be waved home. The relay to Brandon Crawford off his glove. It wouldn't have mattered. Springer scores a double for Bregman. 3-0 Astros.
I got to think you're going to see Young come out here for a mound visit, calm him down. He's starting to leave too many balls over the plate. Right here, same thing, middle. Everything you've seen, that cutter was middle. Buster wanted it in. He's trying to keep the ball off the barrel. Buster's setting up in, wanting that cutter in off the barrel. But when you leave middle, that's what's going to happen. And every one of these balls that he's given up tonight has caught too much plate, and they either missed inner half or have been middle. And this is what you're going to get if that happens. And to me, if you're going to be a starting pitcher and you're not going to utilize a slower curveball as much as I think he should, I think he should start throwing a little bit slower curveball. If you're going to stick with the fastball cutter, you have to be that much better on the corners, because these hitters now are seeing relatively the same speed. There's a guy sinking it, and there's a guy, it's cutting and sinking on you, but if you leave it in the middle, there's no room for error. You don't have any room. These guys are going to see it, and they're going to hit it if you leave it over the plate, because you're not slowing them down.
So throwing what he's throwing, you have to be oh so sharp.
You have to make sure you're on the thirds.
That's deep into center field off the bat of Altuve. A long run for Jackson. Tagging up at second, Bregman. Altuve is out, but Bregman moves up the base. That's out toward the deepest part of the ballpark out there. 409 to straightaway center. And then there's that notch out in deep right center. That's, I think, probably just as deep, if not even deeper.
And he has plenty of time. You'll see he'll get back and tag, but he can get off third base a lot more than he needs to. He could even gone further than that, but he's going to come back. He's going to tag up, and he put it so far out there. He gave him enough time to get him to advance out third base, 90 feet away.
Here is Correa now with a runner at third, 2 down. He lined out to center his first time. Carlos Correa, as good as he's been, he's established himself as one of the premier shortstops in the American League. 273, 362 on base average, got 8 home runs, 12 doubles, and he's only 23 years old, which is, I looked at that, I had to look at it a couple of times. Wait a minute, only 23?
It's amazing some of the talent that comes up and how ready they are to be major league superstars at such a young age nowadays compared to, 10, 15 years ago. You had to work to get there a little bit to be at that talent level already at the major leagues.
2-1 the count. And there's some great young players we've been getting a lot of info about on the way. One of them just came up with Washington yesterday, Soto, or a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
His first start yesterday, hit a home run, his first at bat.
I mean, at 19, I was in rookie ball, still scared to death. These guys hitting homers in the big leagues.
That was pitch number 22 thrown in this inning for Suarez. Vladimir Guerrero's son, Vlad Jr. Seems like every 2-3 days he's hitting a walk-off homer or doing something incredible in the minor
Almost
leagues.
hitting for the cycle every other week. Yeah, okay.
Fernando Tatis Jr., another with the Padres organization. 3 runs in for the Astros, runner at third. And that's all for Correa. A long, difficult inning. McCutcheon, Posey, Belt coming up. Dave Fleming coming over from the radio side.
game with our grad pack. The pack will be tickets to 2 games and a class of 2018 Outta Here t-shirt. It's the perfect gift. Package is starting at $49. Visit sfgiants.com/grad for more info.
Well done, Jeremy. Nice to see you.
Flem, thanks for joining us. You know, all your friends over there again. We saw it earlier in the game. You're just over there chatting away with your invisible buddy.
It's a long conversation, mostly one-sided. This park is, you almost do feel like you're having a conversation with yourself, because with the roof closed, there's so much echo. The sound bounces around. I mean, it's a great crowd. They have great fan support, but the acoustics in here are different.
They are. I could only imagine the World Series last year in here had to have been deafening.
I really think it was. These have always been good baseball fans, good sports fans. But all those years, their first World Series championship. And Giants fans will always love the Astros because of who they beat.
That's right. Dodgers.
Andrew McCutchen buzzed by his former teammate at 97. Yeah. Come on, man.
Look at he's staring at him. He doesn't even Cole doesn't even want to look at him.
3-2. Andrew hit a ball hard his first time up. That's wow.
That's not even close, actually. I mean, I understand that he's been throwing a lot of strikes, but you can't take a ball like that that crosses almost the batter's box on the other side and ring him up. Like, I'm sorry, but that you got to make a better effort than that. I've been seeing that a lot lately on these games, huh? A lot of calls that are like not even borderline.
It certainly was an issue on the last homestand with both Crawford and Belt late in games where the Giants were not happy with some called strike threes. That one was ridiculous. And Garrett Cole's good enough.
Yeah.
And I think, look, I'm not saying that Tim Timmons is intentionally playing favorites, but there were some borderline pitches that Andy Suarez would have liked to have near the corners in that bottom of the third that he didn't get. Then he gave that one that's 6 inches or more off the plate.
I mean, that was pretty close to the same pitch right there.
It was. Andy maybe needs a little more big league time. I don't know. Buster, who struck out against Cole in the first inning. 2-1.
You didn't really give me any props on my out of here call I did.
It was very well done. No, it was good. It was good.
I feel like I animated that pretty good. Right?
I mean, Kipe's a guy really to ask. Like, you need his approval. Springer under this one.
I just feel like after a couple more of the promos like that, if I do it, he probably should let me do the out of here call. You think he'd do that? Or?
Well, we'll see what happens in Chicago. Maybe he will.
I highly doubt it, but you know.
It's unlikely, seems to be. Brandon Belt.
He usually hands me that card that says stop talking. So, you know, I don't think he's going to let me do the out of here call.
Kipe's got 2 business cards, and he prints up a lot of copies, so he has 2 different business cards. One, all it says is stop talking, and the other one, all it says is don't care.
He seems to hand those to me like 2 or 3 times a game. I don't know if I'm supposed to like feel good about that or not.
No, I don't think so. 1-1 to Mr. Belt back here in Houston. He's got family and friends watching him play. And he has just been so hot. Takes that one down and in. 2-1. It's been fun to watch.
It has been, because it hasn't been just like he's not hot hitting singles. He's hot hitting singles, doubles, really long homers. So it's like he's kind of come into that. We've been waiting for this Brandon Belt for a long time type thing. The fans are like, hey, we're all into it. He's got to stay healthy and, you know, all this stuff. And all of a sudden now it seems like he's been a hot and cold guy, you know, a lot during his career. But this This is a different looking belt for me as of right now. He just seems a lot more comfortable and composed, and the Giants got to be pretty excited what they have.
Now there's that big strike zone. That one was not a strike. 3-2.
And he definitely will know if it's a strike. He's really good. I mean, that ball is not even close.
Never at any point was that going to be a strike. I'll say it again. It's hard enough to face Garrett Cole. 3-2. That one is hit to right field and fairly well hit, but in the yard for out number 3. So Cole and Tim Timmons retire the Giants in order. 3-0 Astros.
Or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Francisco Giants Baseball Club, LLC.
Back here in Houston, roof closed tonight at Minute Maid Park. Game 1 of 2 interleague play. Giants and the Astros. Bottom of the 4th. Yuli Gurriel will lead off against Andy Suarez, who retired the first 6 hitters of this game. 2 scoreless innings to begin, and then the Astros hit him pretty hard in that 3rd inning, scored 3 times against him. We'll see if he can kind of right the ship here in the 4th. 2-0.
It's like he made an adjustment already at the beginning of the inning. It was a changeup first pitch to Gurriel. I mean, they've been swinging a lot of pitches because he's coming at him with a fastball. He just needs to keep it down. I mean, you could easily call that a strike. You know, might as well if that's where we're going to go with the strike zone.
And the point you were making about the called strike 3 to me in the inning break to McCutchen, I mean, it was a ball. It should have been ball 4. There's strike 1. It was the leadoff hitter of the inning. You got Posey, you got Belt lined up. McCutchen draws the walk. Immediate pressure against Cole. He pitches from the stretch. Instead, strike 3, and it turned into a 1-2-3 inning. That one hit to shallow right. Long run for McCutchen, and who can't get there. He was playing not only deep, but towards right center field. Gurriel dunks one in for a leadoff single.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad pitch. Just put it in the perfect spot. He just can't get there.
I think McCutchen's played right field very well for the Giants this year.
Oh, he's been great. And I think all the outfielders have been great. I think the pitchers for the Giants should be excited to throw strikes with the defense that they have behind them right now. And I think that I personally think with McCutchen out there, it saves a lot. He can move around out there a little bit. Even with Jackson, if he's a little bit soft with his route, sometimes McCutchen can cover him a little bit. I think it's good to have him out there.
It was a definite plan of the Giants in the offseason to try to boost up that outfield defense, make it better. McCutchen and Jackson are talking about positioning here. It's 1-0. Or maybe McCutchen saying, how come it was a strike when I was up there? Well, that one looked to be pretty darn good. That last one. 2-0 to J.D. Davis.
Suarez needs to. Sometimes these young guys, they don't necessarily view the game like they should at times. I'm not saying he's doing it now, but possibly when you give up a hit like that, you got hit around a little bit the last inning. The first guy comes up, gets a blue pick, made a good pitch. You almost got to tell yourself in your head that that was an out. Like, I know he's on first, but I don't need to change up much of what I'm doing because I made good approaches. And it seems like now he's yanking, he's pushing. Now he's from the stretch, and he's almost trying to do too much. He has to know that if he's a ground ball pitcher, throw a good sinker up there, you're going to get a ground ball.
3-0. And that's ball 4. First walk issued by Suarez.
Well, it's the 12th season of the NBC Sports Bay Area All-Star Teacher Program, recognizing teachers that make a difference. The winner receives $20,000 for his or her school. Visit NBCSportsBayArea.com and vote for your 2018 All-Star Teacher.
We love to support the teachers.
We do.
Who are maybe counting down the days now until they get a little break from all of our children.
Yeah.
We don't blame you.
Yeah. I think my kids' school, they're just not doing anything this week. My kids wore them out.
That one into no man's land. Who's going to take it? McCutcheon. Man, he had to come all the way in. And finally called off Tomlinson to retire Gaddis. That's a big first down for Suarez with Stassi coming up. Sacramento native, Northern Californian. You look at those hitting numbers. I mean, he's, for a guy who's splits time with Brian McCann, you figure McCann's kind of the established guy. It's like Nick Hundley with the Giants, where you got a second catcher who is really productive when he's in there.
Yeah, your backup catcher, you're just happy that he can call a game and your pitching staff trusts what he's putting down back there. Usually they're the catch and throw guy, but if you got a guy that can be your backup catcher and give you an offensive threat on those days where your main guy's out, that's an important piece to a puzzle that you can win with.
And you saw the numbers against lefties. He has destroyed left-handed pitching. 2 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Stassi, who doubled, knocked in a run and scored a run his first time up. He lines that one to left, and it's going to get down in front of Gorkis. The stop sign at third. Gurriel held up. Bases loaded.
That's the second time he's faced him where Buster has wanted it in, and he can't quite get it in. And that's why he probably hits lefties so well, is he likes balls out of the plate and away. And Buster's been setting up in right away. On both at bats, he goes in the whole time, and he just cannot get that in. He misses here right down the middle. The other at bat, he threw a cutter that missed inner half. He pulled it for a double. He's made him pay both times.
And I tell you, for a pitcher who has been so impressive with his command in his young big league career tonight, this is the first time I can remember him really missing his spots like that. That one is lined into right field by Kemp. That's a base hit. And an aggressive send. Here comes the throw. It is high. 2-run score.
This young Astros team, they can hit, and they do not miss balls out over the plate. They don't. They will hit it hard somewhere. You might get them out, but they're going to hit it hard. You're going to see Young come out for the second time tonight. This, to me, is one of those times where the phone probably rings at some point in time down there, and it's kind of a delay to kind of figure out what's going on, because you're going to have to get some guys warmed up. It doesn't seem like the starting pitcher for the Giants has made the adjustment he needs to make in the offense for the Astros. Seems to see something from him.
Yeah, first 2 innings, kind of smooth sailing for Suarez. Now he is on the precipice. Pierce Johnson will start to get loose in the bullpen. It's a 5-run Astros lead. I think you showed it there. There's just been a lot of mistakes out over the plate.
Yeah.
Not to the target. That's unusual for Andy Suarez. Here's Springer, who is 1 for 2, the MVP of the World Series. Just a great all-around player. Still only 1 out. I'm not sure he has any one pitch that he's really feeling comfortable with tonight.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's located really anything. He's definitely battling himself out there. I feel like you'll have some of those days. I feel like you'll have those days where you're out there and you're like so lost, and you don't even understand what's going on. You're just like, man, this ball is just not going where I want it to go. And when you're facing major league hitters, especially as good as this team is, the Houston Astros, if that's your day out there, man, there's a lot of like hoping that you give up atom balls, which those balls go right at guys.
Another one where you just watch the catcher, where Posey's setting up and where he actually receives the ball. Tells you all you need to know. Pretty good cut by Springer.
See Buster wanting it in. Buster almost having to stand up and catch that ball up and away. And Buster's doing it right. He's trying to tell him, you have to get the ball in here. We need to cut this ball off their barrels. You saw that ball right there. He wanted the one they just swung. He wanted in. He missed away, and Springer almost fell over swinging at it. I mean, they're telling you where they want that ball.
You know, it's funny. We were talking with the Houston folks before the game about Suarez. They were asking us about Suarez, and one point that I made was, look, he pitches inside. He pitches inside very effectively. And the Astros guys were saying, well, this team has struggled against fastballs in. That they have not handled that very well, and I think that has been the game plan. He just has not been able to pull it off. A.J. Hinch doing a great job here. That one is lined to short. There's an atom ball for a double play.
That's what you're hoping for.
2 more runs for Houston, though. We'll go to the 5th. The Astros lead 5-0. Banquet, and we'll go back to the World Series. Game 7, 2017, Dodger Stadium. Corey Seager grounds out to Jose Altuve. Final out of the series. Astros clinch their first championship. And The drama was taken away early in Game 7. Yu Darvish got knocked around. Springer with the power early in that game. A very dramatic World Series overall, but Game 7 on the road. The Astros controlled it from start to finish. Their first World Series championship. I saw you guys show the ring ceremony. Alonzo Powell got his ring before the game today. Longoria against Cole. It's now 5-0 Astros.
Springer was the one that really started that deal right out the gate when Yu Darvish came out.
Yes, he did. 1-1 to the Giants' third baseman. The games here, was it Game 5 that was the one that was particularly crazy? Kershaw got the big lead. Astros came back. Dodgers came back. Astros ended up winning it.
Yeah, I remember watching that game and getting frustrated about how many homers were being hit.
Yeah, it was a lot of home runs.
And my wife was like, can you just watch as a fan and enjoy the game? And I said, all right, I'll try to shut my pitching brain off. I gotta admit, I was on the edge of my seat. I could not believe what was happening. It was like you didn't want to go to bed. You were like, you've got to be kidding me.
It was a late night game. That was Game 5. The final score of Game 5 was 13-12.
Oh.
It was 4-0 Dodgers with Kershaw on the mound into the bottom of the fourth inning. I think they were feeling pretty good about things at that point.
And that's a big swing game, you know, for them going into LA.
Heck yeah. Meant the Astros just had to win 1 of 2, and they found a way to do it. 13-12. 3 runs in the 9th for the Dodgers to tie it and send it to extra innings.
Yeah, that was a crazy game.
Alex Bregman got the walk-off hit in extra innings of that one. I mean, it was great baseball theater, and I know the game lasted a long time. It went late night.
But everybody had to stay up and watch. I mean, you're like, I'm watching this. I mean, it was just too good.
Longoria back out of play.
The whole series was offensive like that. It's fun to watch if you watch it from that perspective.
And the home run ball. I mean, I think you can make an argument that this era of baseball, there's Bregman who had that walk-off hit, that where you have more strikeouts, more home runs, fewer balls in play, fewer defensive plays. Some people think that's a real problem for the game. Maybe it is. That's ball 4. Longoria draws the walk. But watching those guys and the power display that they put on in the World Series was thrilling, I thought.
Yep.
Well, Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the San Francisco Giants into your X1 voice remote and get live stats on your TV. Try it now. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. Show me the San Francisco Giants. Brother-in-law against brother-in-law. Crawford, who got a hit against Garrett Cole his first time up, takes a strike. That was a changeup. There's Amy.
You know, John thought I was, reading into things a little bit, but I still think Pops is pretty excited when his son actually gets a hit off of the guy that's married to his daughter. It's like, okay, that guy's my son-in-law. Maybe he hasn't, I don't think he hasn't proven to me he's worth it yet. And you're giving up knocks to my son. Like it's kind of a pride thing, right? I mean, you got daughters, right?
I don't think you're reading too much into it.
And they said, she can't cheer either way. She gets super nervous that way. But I'm thinking Dad's like, get him, son. Right?
If my kid one day is playing in the big leagues against one of my daughter's husbands, I'm rooting for my kid. Period. It could be for Amy that the perfect scenario here tonight would be Astros win, Garrett gets a win, Brandon goes 2 for 2 against him. And Crawford gets his hits, and my husband gets his win. She's handling it pretty well.
Yeah, she's actually just purposely not watching right now.
She did say she thinks she takes it worse than either of these two guys.
Yeah.
0-2. Pretty good swing on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. Garrett Cole, the story goes, came on his recruiting visit to UCLA and was hosted by Brandon Crawford. Crawford's a few years older. He was, I think, a junior at that time. He sold him on UCLA, introduced him to his sister.
Yeah.
Brandon's pretty important for Garrett Cole.
Exactly. He's like, I'm the biggest fan of Brandon. Yeah, I'm sure you are. You know?
Yeah, should be. 0-2. That one to left field toward those Crawford boxes. Well hit, and it's gone. All right, let's see how Dad reacts. Well, I can't smile too wide.
She did a half clap, I think, maybe. Like, yeah, no.
Giants are back in this game.
Yeah, see, Dad's still showing Crawford going in the dugout. I mean, that is a great piece of hitting by Brandon. That ball was a cutter away, thrown exactly where they wanted it, and he goes with that pitch for a homer. Shows you how hot Brandon is right now, obviously in the month of May, because you're taking arguably the second, well, he is the second best pitcher in the American League, but strikeout wise, he leads in strikeouts, leads in the least amount of hits given up, you know, the amount of innings he's thrown. I mean, he's overall probably the best pitcher in the American League, and he took a great pitch and hit it for a homer.
Brandon Crawford. Maybe the Giants can have back-to-back players of the week with two Brandons. Crawford had a pretty good argument this last week. That's his first home run, and that will be brought up at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. And that he's hitting 300 off it.
Well, his numbers starting to look a little better. Okay. I mean, Dad knows. Yeah, I can't celebrate too much.
Dad's like, that's okay. I'm going to make a GIF out of this and just send it to him over and over again.
Everybody trying to hold it together. And it does give you an idea of how we all have fun with it. It's probably they probably wouldn't describe it as that much fun.
No.
Two people that they really care about having to face one another. One wins, one loses. 1-1 to Austin Jackson. Well, let's see if maybe that can help the Giants kind of get back in this game. One thing about the Astros, their starting pitching is dominant. Their bullpen has not been dominant. If you can get into that bullpen with still a shot in the late innings, you got a shot.
Yeah, they strike a lot of guys out as a team, and their bullpen strikes a lot of guys out, but they'll give up some hits. So they lead the league in strikeouts, and they got 73% of all the strikeouts that come from their starters right now. But when you have Cole and Verlander going back to back, it's kind of,
yeah,
it's obvious.
And Charlie Morton striking a bunch of people out.
Charlie Morton.
Lance McCullers has the strikeout curveball, and Dallas Keuchel is their worst starting pitcher right now.
Yeah, and he's pretty good.
He is really good. Well, there's your fifth starter on this team. In the dirt. Well, 20-plus pitches now in this inning for Garrett Cole. Still only one out. Goria had a long at bat. Crawford. Top 3 in earned run average.
He's yanked a few those slider cutter pitches to Jackson this at bat, and to me, when you yank something as good as you've been all day and you're yanking something, you're really trying to finish the pitch. Like, you're not, something in your delivery is saying, I need to do a better job here, and as a pitcher you'll tend to really yank it over there rather than trust that my spin, that the spin rate that I'm going to put on that ball is going to get it to get over there. And so for whatever reason, he's not trusting his delivery or that pitch. I don't know if that homer messed him up. If he went back and looked at it, he'd probably say it was a good pitch, but he maybe thought it wasn't spinning like it should be. And there's another walk. Second walk of the inning. He's probably wondering what happened to the strike zone.
Yeah, that was a strike last inning. Well, in this park, you don't have to hit it a long way in some spots, 353 feet, but over that 19-foot high wall into what they call the Crawford boxes. Fifth home run of the year for Brandon Crawford. Seems perfect for him, right?
Yeah, Crawford hit into the Crawford box.
They were made for him. Crawford Street is out beyond that wall, just on the other side of the ballpark. So 1 out, a base runner. The inning goes on. Brent Strom, the pitching coach, back in the dugout. The ninth place hitter, Kelby Tomlinson, comes up. And Garrett Cole is laboring, might be too strong, but I think you're right to point out that he's fighting himself a little bit.
And a lot of times when you fight yourself like that, you'll see a lot of catchers keep going to it because they're like, look, you know it's a good pitch. You didn't have it, but we need to get it back because that's the way we're going to get through this game. So we're going to keep calling it because you need to find it again.
Tomlinson pushes a bunt, and a good one. Altuve has no play. That's a bunt hit for Kelby Tomlinson. Good idea. You just got to get it past the pitcher.
Great
and
idea.
He did.
Great idea. It's a little cutter again. And that's a tough pitch to bunt right there. And he went with it pretty good. It kind of wasn't a cutter out away from him. It's not like he can go with it. It was kind of in on his hands, and he put it in a perfect spot.
Hey, you notice where Altuve's playing. You know what you need to do. He executed. A pitcher who's struggling, you start to build the pressure on him. Gorkys Hernandez is the tying run.
And I like teams that will bunt on teams that shift. The Houston Astros shift probably more than any team in all of baseball. They pride themselves. They talk about it. It works for them. But if you've got a team that can bunt, I would be more than happy to bunt on you if you're going to sit there and shift on us all the time, because I'm going to try to take away your strength as much as I can to try to beat you.
Gorkys takes low, ball one. There is some stirring in the Astros bullpen. Nobody is yet throwing out there, but 84 pitches. This is almost a 30-pitch inning now for Garrett Cole with still only 1 out. Strike. Credit the Giants, down 5-0 heading to the 5th with only 2 singles in the game. A 2-run homer by Brandon Crawford, now a walk and another hit. I think he's had a pretty good cut. Swinging the bat well for the Giants. With some power. How about Gorkys' 4 home runs?
Yeah, last year you weren't going to see that from him. He wouldn't hit the ball very hard at all. But you wonder if that's, he had surgery, right? Did he have like a hammock bone deal? Or sometimes you wonder if that helps guys out, and all of a sudden he feels like he could swing the bat with some authority again. Sometimes you never know what's going on with some of these hitters. They're not going to say anything. They're trying to play through injuries. You see these guys that just aren't putting up the numbers or the batting average, maybe the bat speed they're used to putting up. Sometimes you wonder if there's just something ailing going on in there. They just don't like to talk about it.
Most at bats of any player in the major leagues last year with no home runs, and now he's got 4 in the first 2 months of this year. 2 on, 1 out. The time, Cole, even the pace and the tempo has changed for Garrett Cole. On the ground is short. Could be 2. Correa. That's 1. Altuve. Got him for the double play. close, but they got him. So did Brandon Crawford against his brother-in-law. Into the Crawford boxes. The hottest hitter in baseball in the month of May. The family doesn't know how to react. Giants back in the game, 5-2.
Heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Well, the Giants at least can feel like they're back in this game. They were down 5-0 with one of the best pitchers in baseball on the mound, but they get 2 runs. So it's 5-2. Brandon Crawford with the 2-run homer against his brother-in-law. Now Andy Suarez has to face the big boys. 2, 3, 4 coming up for the Astros in the bottom of the 5th, and probably with a short leash.
Yeah, he's going to have to get outs, I think, in this, because they just got back in the ball game. You're 3 runs away with a lot of innings left to play. There's a lot of game left, and I don't think Bochy's going to allow it to get out of hand.
And Garrett Cole, what, 88 pitches through 5? So you feel like he's not going to be in the game for too much longer, which they were having good at bats against him. But I think anytime you get him out of the game and get anybody else out there, you feel like you got a shot.
Yeah, it could definitely come down to the battle of bullpens.
Bregman, 2-2.
Part of what I think Suarez is dealing with right now is he's not finishing his pitches. A sinker ball guy has to finish his pitch. If he doesn't, he gets real flat and he gets left to right. He doesn't get that good depth. And when you don't finish it, you almost shove it up there. And then you're thinking, okay, I'm trying to release it to get it to sink. But if you release a sinker up, it stays up, and it says hit me when it comes in. He has to get that ball down. He's got to finish that pitch. That was actually a better finish right there. He's only walking. But leadoff walks after a 2-run homer. Altuve's even kind of taking a slow walk up to first, trying to figure out what they're going to do.
And that could be it.
I think it is.
Yep. Here comes Bruce Bochy. So he was going to give Suarez a hitter, see if he could get him through the 5th, but the leadoff walk means he is out of this game. And Pierce Johnson will be coming in. 5-2 Astros. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. Will be back right after this.
Saturday the 2nd, special treat for the first 20,000 fans. They're going to receive a retro fanny pack, courtesy of Coca-Cola and the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk's also going to issue all-day rides ticket for the first 20,000 fans as well to stick in your fanny pack when you walk around the boardwalk. Tickets are available always at sfgiants.com.
I can see you on our next road trip wearing one of those.
Yeah, I might request that. I might give him my wrong address when I tell him to mail it to me, but I'll request it.
Am I wrong? Doesn't Hunter Pence like to wear the fanny pack?
That doesn't surprise me.
I think he does.
On his scooter.
Pierce Johnson into the game. Nobody out after the leadoff walk from Andy Suarez. 5-2 Astros. Pierce, the numbers I don't think tell the full story. Overall, I think he's done a pretty good job.
I think he has too. He's only had what, maybe he had one really bad outing, I think, right? But I think for the majority of his outings, and that's how relievers sometimes have to look at it. Like, I don't have enough numbers or innings to really cover some of the statistics, but if I can do my job 8, 9 out of 10 times, if I have a blow-up outing, that's going to affect my ERA. But what am I doing overall?
That one right there on the corner. It's 0-2 to the American League MVP, Jose Altuve.
And it seems like Bochy still has a lot of faith in him because he goes to him a lot. He seems to be able the guy that can kind of give you multiple days a week and come back the next day.
Well, tough night for Andy Suarez. Just did not have his command, did not have his sharpness. 1-2. Well, Pierce Johnson's pitched 23 innings. He's only given up 1 home run. Fewer hits than innings pitched. When he's had a problem, usually it's been the walks, or lack of command. I think Suarez had the lack of command tonight, but it was only 2 walks. It was more lack of command in the strike zone.
Yeah, leaving that ball over the middle of the plate too much.
There goes the runner, Bregman. Posey's throw, and Crawford couldn't get there. Jackson back to play up. Well, that's a steal for Alex Bregman.
Sometimes you come in from that bullpen out there and you'll tend to overthrow, because I'm telling you, when you have to pitch inside of a tunnel like they do down there, it feels like you're throwing a gazillion miles. I mean, you feel so good coming in. You're like, oh, I'm going to throw 100 today. And you get out there and you're almost overly amped because you were so excited to come in and throw heat. You know, you almost like he's a little over. He seems to overthrow a little bit right here on that last couple of pitches. But I loved warming up in here because I knew I was going to throw my 90 poo, and it felt like 100. You know, it's great.
I've never heard that before.
90 poo?
Well, that and the theory about the tunnel and making you feel like you're throwing harder.
Yeah, it's great, man. You felt like, I mean, you're like, wow, maybe I found something out. And then you come out and you see the velocity and you're like, no, I haven't. Yeah.
Back to old me.
Keep it down. Keep it down.
Well, from 0-2 to 3-2 to Altuve, with now a runner in scoring position and nobody out. That is strike 3 call. 96 on the outside. That's another thing about Pierce Johnson. He uses that cutter and the 2-seamer and kind of dances around at 90-91, and then he reaches back and does this.
Yeah, he threw it right by him. And you know what? It probably was a little bit off. I think you need to give it to him. That's a great pitch right there. But you're exactly right. He did not swing at that because he thought it was a ball. I think he just was by him. He couldn't get loaded quick enough.
Altuve unhappy with that. Correa comes up 0 for 2. It's lined out and struck out. Here's that 4-seam fastball at 95. Those are good numbers. You figure at some point they'll be even better from this guy.
Oh, yeah.
Did he go? I thought he did. Yeah, he did. Rob Drake says, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he went.
If you're a pitcher,
yeah.
That's
Great call.
Every
Great call.
time. foul him off to the right. It'll be 1-2. Pierce Johnson, and the Giants claimed him last September from the Cubs. Cubs had a roster crunch. He was a former high draft pick of the Cubs. But getting ready for the playoffs, they needed to do some roster maneuvering. They made him available. Giants were not having a good year, so they had a chance to make a claim on him early before most teams. They took him, and I think they're very glad they did.
Yeah, he was kind of a surprise on the team, right? Like kind of a.
That was a good pitch. Round number 2. Going into spring training, I don't think there were a lot of people who thought that Pierce Johnson was going to be on the opening day roster. Two down for Gurriel.
Sometimes you just never know the impression you're going to make on a manager or a pitching coach. And all of a sudden, those kind of things happen. And you might have you have an injury, and all of a sudden, we need some other guys to fill in for some spots, and we have an open spot. And Bochy's going to say, "I remember this kid. He throws strikes. He throws hard. Get him on the team. We'll use him."
And I think that is part of the reason why he did make the team. That was a good breaking ball for a strike. Bumgarner gets hurt late in the spring. Ty Block has to go into the rotation. Samardzija's not going to be ready, so you're a little thin in the starting 5, and you needed a guy who can be a swing man, a long man. On the ground to short. That's a really nice job by Pierce Johnson out of the bullpen. He inherited that runner, and he did not score. McCutchen and then Posey and Belt coming up. 5-2 Astros through 5. Glove drive presented by Bank of America is scheduled for Saturday, June 2nd. So 1 week from this Saturday when we get back home, bring a glove or make a $10 donation and you get a 60th anniversary pin. Make a donation at jrgiants.org and get a Buster Posey bobblehead. We get so many kids who play junior Giants baseball, thousands, literally thousands of kids who don't have their own glove. And you help us give gloves to all the kids who want to play ball, and we appreciate it. Andrew McCutchen against Garrett Cole. McCutchen, who should have had a walk his last time up, was called out on a ridiculous strike call. Now he's ahead 2-0. And that was, by the way, the only strikeout second time through the order for Garrett Cole. So he struck out 5 first time through. Giants have made a nice adjustment against him second time. That is ball 3.
I mean, as a hitter, I'd have a hard time not popping off like my next time at bat, like get in the box and look over to Tim and be like, no, you missed it by about 8 inches. Just so you know, I went and looked for you. Like, terrible call.
Not well received by umpires if you do that. Well, it's 3-1. See if McCutchen has the guts to take another close pitch. It's definitely a strike. 3-2.
I mean, what if they did it like the Major League Baseball does to us when they find us and they show the photo? Like, what if you walked up there with the screenshot and handed it to them?
Here, Tim. McCutcheon fouls that one off. And this is the at-bat we're talking about. Before the pitch in question, the 97 right towards his chin, where he's looking at his old teammate like, yeah, really? And then that was strike 3.
I mean, it's a pretty good hitter in the box right there. You just rang up on a bad pitch.
Struck him out swinging. 98. One out for Buster Posey. 95 pitches now for Cole, which, look, we're not obsessing over the pitch count, but I think when you're facing a guy who's this tough, typically it's a victory if you can get him out of the game.
Oh yeah.
The Astros bullpen is working now. There's a curve to Buster for a called strike.
I mean, as little as he uses that pitch is nasty.
Yeah. I think it's better than his slider, really. Buster had a good cut on the fastball. It's 0-2. So that last strikeout, his 100th of the year. Max Scherzer has 104 already. And this is the 10th start for Garrett Cole.
I mean, we're not even into June, and we're looking at over. I mean, you keep it this rate, you're gonna have close to 300 punchies.
Yep. Posey held off, and it's called strike 3. My goodness. All right, Brandon Belt coming to the plate. How far would you go for a Togo? Brought to you by Togo's Pretzel Rami. This was Brandon Belt in the bottom of the 7th. Tie game. Jake McGee gone. 408 feet. Hit it 108 miles an hour off the bat. A huge swing of the bat for the Giants that vaulted them to a win and a series split. 2 down, and Cole bounces one. So this was the pitch to Posey that I got a little upset about. And that one's closer.
But Timmons has a good look at that pitch too, and you saw Buster actually shot a look back at him and said something to him, I think.
Trying to be good.
Yeah.
Trying just to move on.
Not me. Tim does not do a very good job tonight.
And no, he's not.
Just saying.
3-0 to Belt here with the big shift on. Down 5-2. Belt's probably just taking here. And you got to wait with Timmons to make sure, even though that was a half a foot outside, that it's actually going to be called a ball. It was. So it gets Longoria up there. Longoria, who walked before the Crawford home run last inning. I think Longoria's swings tonight against Garrett Cole have been pretty well balanced. I think he's seeing the ball pretty well against him.
For not seeing a guy, and he throws 98 with the amount of stuff he has, he's hit some balls straight back. I mean, he sees them.
This is the first time they've ever faced. Ball 1. Will Harris, the right-hander, is the guy getting ready. And who knows, if Longoria reaches to keep this inning going, I think there's a chance that Cole's coming out of the game. 97 toward the corner, 1-1. Did he go? No.
I mean, Drake probably feels bad for the guys in the strike zone too. He's like, you know what, you went, but you guys have been kind of getting screwed all game on the strike zone, so no, you didn't go.
Especially after he called a swing on an Astros hitter in the bottom of the fifth. I think the Astros fans are not thrilled. Longoria, big bouncer to third. Bregman will go to second to force out Belt. And that's it for the Giants. So Cole is through 6. We'll go to the bottom half. 5-2 Astros. Bottom of the 6th. We're at Minute Maid Park. Game 1 of 2. Interleague baseball for 2. Then off to Wrigley Field, a weekend series against the Cubs. 4 in Colorado, or 3 rather in Colorado. Giants Rockies to finish out a 3-city 8-game road trip. J.D. Davis against Pierce Johnson, second pitcher of the night for the Giants. A big curveball drops in for a called strike. Good time to use that pitch. Davis, who walked and scored a run his last time up against the starter Suarez. Did he go? No.
Be interesting to see how Johnson approaches the bottom part of this batting order. It's really been the guys that have done the most damage tonight. If anybody, their main guys we've only seen a ton from yet, but their bottom order guys. Gaddis been struggling with double. Backup catcher with 2 hits.
Ninth place hitter Tony Kemp with a 2-run base hit. You're right. The bottom of the order, this part of the order has done a lot of damage. Two 1. 3-1. Ball 4. That's the 4th straight inning where the leadoff hitter has reached base safely for the Astros. He's putting a lot of pressure on these Giants pitchers.
Yep.
Gaddis led off to third with a double. That was the first hit and first base runner for Houston. They would get 3 runs in that 3rd inning and then 2 more in the 4th. Just a .214 batting average for Evan Gaddis.
See if Johnson will look at this at bat correctly, the approach should probably be he's a double play candidate. You just got to get the ball on the ground. He's not going to fly up the line. He's not, you know, he just hits the ball. If he gets in the air, he can hit it a long way. You have to be careful with any kind of elevated balls here, but I'm doing whatever I can to get ball on the ground right there. Or throw that.
Yeah. 81-mile-an-hour curveball.
Ball starts out almost right at him. Those are my favorite curveballs. You get a hitter, when you get a major league hitter to like jump out of the way and it's a strike, it kind of makes you grin a little bit.
1-1. Now right down at the bottom of the zone. Good pitch, 1-2.
You back it up with 95 on the black. Oof. Because part of him is looking at, he's going to throw that curveball at me again. You know, so he's kind of got to be conscious of that ball in there.
1-2 to shallow right center. It's going to fall.
I mean, he beat him there. The only reason he got even enough to get that ball to fall is because it just came back over the middle. It just seems like these Astros hitters, no matter what, whether it be down or up, anything over the middle of that plate, these guys are just not missing. It's like you try to throw a cutter there a little bit, or, you know, like, it's not getting there.
So that's big. Now 2 on, nobody out. With Stassi, who's 2 for 2. Double, a single, has knocked in a run, has scored a run from the 8th spot in the order. Strike 1. They got Belt off the line a bit. Otherwise, fairly normal defense for the Giants on the infield. Giants have used their shifts. They don't shift as much as some teams, but they've used them very effectively. They have leaderboards for everything these days, and they track how often you shift and how often it works. And the Giants are near the top of all big league teams. They're near the top of all teams in terms of turning ground balls into outs. So if you're a pitcher on this Giants staff and you get a ball on the ground, usually good things happen.
And you have a pretty much, I mean, Belt hasn't won it yet just because he hasn't been healthy enough, I think, to win it. But easily, if you have, I mean, Thomason's filling in for Panic, but if Panic's healthy, you have 4, potentially 5 Gold Glovers out there.
Yep.
You know, like, I mean, you keep the ball within the 90-foot range, it's going to be, you're going to be out most of the time.
Well, Pierce Johnson's backing himself into a real problem spot here. Reyes Moronta is up in the Giants bullpen. Leadoff walk and then a blue pit. And now a good hitter's count for Max Stassi. 3-1 is ball 4. Wow.
But again, it's the bottom of their order that's getting on base, whether they're getting hitting or they're getting walks. But it seems like they have had the best at bats all night, and we're not really wanting to challenge these guys in the bottom of the order.
That is not supposed to happen in that spot there. A 5-pitch walk. So Kurt Young's coming out again. I think this is the 4th mound visit for the Giants. Not that they care that much, but only a couple of them left here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, they got 2 after this. This was my problem with the mound visits. I don't really think that it saves you a lot of time. I really don't. I don't think that, I'd like to see the numbers on how if the game's really even sped up all that much or not because of the lack of mound visits. But this puts you guys in a bad spot as a team when you have to now you have to strategize. You have to only say 2 because I mean, what if this game changes and all of a sudden it's like the 7th, 8th inning and it's close ball game and Buster wants to go and now he's got to yell it? I mean, I don't even know what do you do? Like hand signals?
We haven't really gotten. We have not had one of those yet where the Giants have been out of them and wanted to use one. Bases loaded, 1 out, or no outs rather. Kemp, with all his speed, infield in, takes ball 1, and Pierce Johnson right now is just not throwing strikes. Total mound visits across the game are down like 50%. So.
Well, yeah, because catchers can't just randomly go out there now and like change up signs. You got to have a little bit. You have to be able to know, like, hey, I got to do this, right? Hey, we're gonna roll. You almost got to tell them from behind the plate. And I can understand some of that. It eliminates the catchers running out there and talking to the pitcher. I mean, I called Buster out there like 8 times an inning. Yeah, I would be in trouble in today's game.
You would be.
I wouldn't be allowed. I don't even think they'd want me to pitch.
We'd find a spot for you, but it'd be a little different. Kemp swinging away 2-0, and he had a fastball to hit. And look, this is no knock against Tony Kemp. He's making the most of his opportunity. But Pierce Johnson, you got to challenge this guy. He's the 9th place hitter. He's not a home run hitter. He might be littler than Jose Altuve.
Yeah, you have to be able to go, my 95 is better than you. You know, my cutter is better than you. And just believe it. Somehow you got to believe it.
2-1. That's low. You have to throw a strike here. Well, the manager's poised. He did throw a strike, and that's down the left field line, but foul. Got to do it again. To left field. Gorkis is there, and he'll make the catch. Davis tags and scores.
Pretty good throw by Gorkis, just not in time. It's a low risk or low percentage out from happening right there, but it was a good throw.
It was. I mean, that's one thing about this ballpark where the dimensions mean that your corner outfielders are a little closer than they would be ordinarily. But the run is scored. Johnson out, Marunta coming in when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and brake experts. 2. And the Giants bringing in a new pitcher in a strikeout kind of spot, trying to hang around in this game. Reyes Moronta, who certainly has the strikeout stuff. Moronta takes over, third pitcher of the game for the Giants. Suarez for 4, Johnson for an inning and a third. And now Moronta. And Pierce Johnson, the problem that he's had these last few times on the mound, the walks. 2 walks in this inning. 1 has already scored. Now you get George Springer in the top of the order. Springer, who is 1 for 3 in this game. Astros trying to break it open. And we'll see. Moronta, who throws very hard, has swing and miss stuff out of the pen. Call the ball. Right there.
Right in the top of the strike zone for a ball. It's amazing. I mean, that was middle. You can't miss it.
That was right over the heart of the plate. That one called a strike.
I mean, can't say the catcher blocked me out. I mean, it was right down the middle.
Not a great night.
No. It's humid. Maybe. He's not hydrated.
That one's in there. Slider for strike 2. 1-2. That pitch is becoming better and better, I think, for Moronta.
I'll tell you what, man, you throw 97 and then you can throw that at a hitter. I mean, that's an impossible slider to hit. And it's a strike. But you can't hit it when you're looking 97.
So let's see which he chooses here. 1-2. Goes back with the slider and struck him out.
I mean, that's some of the nastiest pitches I've seen all year. Because he throws 97, but he throws that slider with that same arm speed, and then it was like, that was almost like a Romo slider right there. Look at that. I mean, that came from almost, looks like he lowered his arm angle a little bit right there, and he throws it with such good arm speed, and he starts it out in the same place that fastball that guys have to commit like it's 97. If you can do that, you can tell guys what's coming, and it's going to be hard to hit it.
Starting pitcher Sergio Romo.
Yeah.
How about that?
Starting pitcher. I mean, I'm using that in my contract negotiations if I'm him. I can start 2 days in a row, you know, and be successful.
He pitched great both days. This would be a team where he might do that. Astros have all the right-handed hitters that hit at the top of the order.
Yep.
Bregman takes the slider for a called strike.
Interesting how the game's evolving in the last 5 years on everything. Like now you're starting a guy for 1 inning and just because the matchups to try to get, and then you're going to start a guy later and try to get, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily on board with that, but maybe that's just because I haven't bought into it yet. I haven't drank the Kool-Aid on that scenario, but you're starting to see guys now when it comes to all the number guys doing the numbers, they're not playing the game how you quote unquote should play it. They're playing it like, well, how do we win, you know?
Which, if you ultimately do win, it's hard to argue with that.
That's right.
2-1. That's a strike at 98. This guy's exciting.
Yeah, he's definitely electric when he throws the ball.
2-2. Bounce foul.
See, this to me, if he throws that same slider he threw Springer, I think he'll get the same result.
See if you can get him to chase. He threw a fastball and it missed, so now the count is full. 3-2. You saw Madison Bumgarner there in the dugout. Madison threw to live hitters today, through like a live session. Gregor Blanco is one of the hitters who was out there, and apparently all went well. This weekend he'll make his first rehab start.
Yeah, and they're going to really be excited to get him back.
Yes, they will be. Runners took off, fouled off.
He just brings a completely different dynamic to the game when he pitches, and then also when he's active and not pitching, because he just has that. It's just when he's not healthy and he's not pitching, it's a mood swing in that clubhouse and in that dugout. But when you know you have a guy like that coming in every 5 days, it's a different mentality, and it's going to help everybody else out.
3-2. It is pop foul. Back out of play. Now this is what we were talking about from earlier this afternoon. Up on the mound, Miguel Gomez, one of those hitters, and live batting practice. I mean, taking cuts against him.
Sounded like a broken bat. I mean, guys getting late swings on him, that means his ball's jumping. I know they have that camera up there, and that camera's what? And that camera's to do spin rate, right? That's what it's trying to figure out. You see him all giggling down there. Greshner, I'm sure, is super excited.
Well, really, the only question is just building up that arm strength, because it's not an arm injury, it's just the broken finger. So it's just getting the stamina and strength level back. 3-2 is pulled on the ground. Fair. He hooked it by Longoria. That will score at least one. Pretty good hitting by Alex Bregman.
Very good hitting. Kind of a frustrating thing for a pitcher, too, because you had him where you wanted him. It was a pretty tough at bat. He really didn't hit it all that well. It sounded like he almost hit it off the end, or he just kind of snuck by Longoria playing off the line a little bit there. But here's the pitch right here. Is that slider? I think he hit it off the end of the bat, and he just hooked it. And he just got enough topspin. You see he hit the top of the ball right there, and he got enough topspin to kind of get it to pick up speed and just shoot by Longoria, and he couldn't get to it.
So 2 runs in here in the 6th. Back to a 5-run deficit for the Giants. And a ball hit into left field by Altuve, base hit. Stassi scores. Here comes Bregman. He scores.
And that's going to happen when you give free passes. When you give a team like this that has the offense that they have, and you offer free passes on the base pass, it's going to happen. Guys are going to start feeling good about it. They're going to start getting some hope and come alive, and it can unravel in a hurry against a team like the Astros.
Well, it was the bottom of the order with 2 walks and a bloop in between those 2 walks. And then you let the big boys, Bregman and Altuve, drive him in.
Yep.
There's Correa. Toronto's making some good pitches even, but that even more to your point, when you hand a team a rally that has good hitters, even if you make quality pitches, you might pay for it.
Yep.
The Astros have blown this game open. Blew it by him. Oh, 2. Correa had a better cut that time. I think even Moranta is a guy, if you're nitpicking, the lack of command, and that one was just right down the middle, and especially with the fastball for him. I mean, he's got a chance to be a big-time reliever for the Giants for a long time. He got him with the nasty slider. You see the stuff.
Strikeout stuff.
But the Astros, 4 more. John comes and joins Jeremy on TV, 9-2 Houston.
Game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB At Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and brake experts. It is the top of the 7th, 9-2 Astros, and Tony Sipp is the pitching change.
Sipp is the only left-hander in the Astros bullpen. So he comes in relief of Garrett Cole. And this game is comfortably in hand at the moment for the Astros with a 9-2 lead. And the only Giants runs knocked in by the hitter at the plate right here, Brandon Crawford, with an opposite field homer into the very appropriately named Crawford boxes back in the 5th. In the dirt for ball 1 to Brandon. 2 more hits for Brandon Crawford. Came into this game hitting .444 in the month of May, and now he's 2 for 2 in this game.
Welcome back, John.
I was getting really lonely over there in the radio booth, especially in the last of the 6th.
Yeah, you had a good couple innings, and then you just kind of tanked it over there. You need to come back over here. Maybe we can get some more runs.
Crawford with a swinging strike, 1-1. You think it hit Brandon when that home run nestled into those boxes out there in left field that are so close to the plate? Like, wow, it must be nice to play here all the time.
Yeah, I'd have 20 homers a year if I could hit Oppo homers at 350 feet.
I remember when they opened this ballpark, and it opened right around the similar time to AT&T Park. And the Astros moved from the Astrodome into this park, which it freaked out a lot of their pitchers. First time they took batting practice here. That is a ground ball to first, and Gurriel will take it. That's the first time Brandon Crawford has been retired tonight. The wall in left field is only 19 feet high. This was the home run Crawford hit. Just a high fly ball.
Hey, see, Dad, what a reaction right there. Dad looks at his daughter and is like, ooh, sorry, like almost like, ugh. And I'm telling you, he made a gif out of that. He's going to send that to Cole on his birthday, Christmas.
The video of that?
Of him just hitting a homer off. of his son hitting a homer off him.
Well, that was Brandon's first home run against his brother-in-law. Here's Pablo batting right-handed now. And that cuts in there for a called strike. But when this place opened, I remember asking, why would you make it so shallow in left field? And they said, well, we wanted to do a kind of a Fenway Park kind of a thing. I said, well, does anybody here realize that the wall at Fenway is 37 feet high? Now, you pitched at Fenway many times.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if the wall at Fenway was only 19 feet high?
No. They'd have a lot more homers. I mean, and I actually think Fenway, I think they're even, I think I'd like to take a rangefinder from home plate to the wall. I think it's actually closer than what they say it is. It feels closer.
At the wall at Fenway, the sign at the foul pole says 310 feet.
I'm saying it's 270.
Here it's 315. The Boston Globe, the big newspaper in town, sent up a plane to take pictures, and they had the special infrared photography. Pablo, a good rip at that one, and it's 2-2. But they said, well, we know home plate to third base is 90 feet, so they measured it. And using that as the measuring stick, they said that 310 sign should actually be listed at 291.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. I'm glad you told that story. It makes me feel better. I give up a couple homers there.
Well, high fly balls would often end up being home runs at Fenway Park, especially in the summer when the wind would be blowing out. That is off the inside at 92 miles an hour. 3-2 the count. Close one.
Yeah, well, when you get the strike zone that Tim's been given, you as a pitcher, you're like, what just happened? Because you've been calling way worse pitches than that for strikes.
3-2 the count to Pablo.
Start getting used to that.
And a pop-up foul back toward us. I wouldn't be surprised. We should go out and walk off this. That 315 looks pretty cozy for 315, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the fence goes square out. It does not angle out or curve outward like almost every other ballpark.
Yeah, it's not a lot of fun.
The Crawford boxes. There used to be a street back behind left field called Crawford Street. There's a ball inside, and Pablo Sandoval draws a walk. First time he's been on base in this game. And Austin Jackson will come up. A.J. Hinch, the manager, using Sip with a big lead. And the bullpen gets busy again. That is Joe Smith. All of their other bullpenners are right-handers. Jackson has struck out looking and walked. Giants are down 9-2 in the 7th inning. Wow. That was a kind of a lot of those pitches down like that and around the outside have been called balls.
Yeah, he's been given a lot of stuff up and outside, but that ball down there, he hasn't been given a whole lot.
You know, you were talking about pitching at Fenway Park, and does the name Johnny Damon ring a bell to you?
Johnny Damon, ex-Royal.
As in Johnny Damon goes deep against Jeremy Affeldt at Fenway Park.
That was a cheap shot. I think it might have went around the pesky pole.
No. They said, well, they said that's the only home run you ever allowed there.
What? Really?
That's a foul out of play off.
Maybe I just had overall nightmares of pitching there.
You just visualized a lot of home runs going over that shorty.
Maybe I just assume I'm going to give him up over there.
You think Damon hit, was it 302 to the right field foul ball?
I'm pretty sure it was like it was like a weird swing. It's like he jumped because he had the worst hack ever at the plate, but it worked for him, right? And I swear he like jumped and swung, and then it literally, I think, went right down around that pesky pole homer thing. It might even hit the top of the wall. That little short wall out there.
At Fenway, it's 302 to the foul pole and right. If you hit it maybe 10, 12 feet off the foul pole, it's 380 feet to get it out.
No, he didn't hit that far. I don't remember that. I
think
think
you
it
have
was
to
a
hit it
302.
right to the foul pole to
Yeah.
hit this.
I think that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Johnny Damon didn't hit one that far.
That's a base hit to left center. Pablo will stop at second. Austin Jackson's first hit of the game. 2 men on, and Tomlinson, and here comes A.J. Hinch. With the string of right-handed hitters coming up, he's going to bring in the right-hander. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and brake expert. Smith will be coming in. 2 men on, 1 man out here in the 7th.
Area is brought to you by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com. And by Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV.
From downtown Houston, Minute Maid Park, the Giants trailing the Astros 9-2. A 4-run 6th-inning rally for the Astros, opening this up against the Giants bullpen. And here is Joe Smith in from the Astros bullpen. It's been a very difficult year for him so far, as you can see by those numbers. Sinker baller. And he misses low and inside. Ball 1 to Kelby Tomlinson with Sandoval at second, Jackson at first, and 1 out in this inning. Gorkis Hernandez on deck. The outfield is way over to the right field line and pretty shallow. Right back to the mound. There's 1, 2 to the first, double play. And that's just what Hinch was hoping for, and just what he got. Last of the 7th, 9-2, Houston. Toyota game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. 9-2, the Astros lead the Giants as we're in the middle of the 7th inning. 9 runs, 10 hits for the Astros. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Giants. Suarez, the starter. 4+ innings, 5 runs, 7 hits allowed. Brandon Crawford knocked in the Giants 2 runs with his first ever home run against his brother-in-law, Garrett Cole, who went 6 innings, gave up just those 2 runs on 4 hits with 8 strikeouts. Bregman, one of the big hitters for the Astros, 2 doubles and 2 batted in, plus a walk for Bregman. New pitcher for the Giants, Josh Osich, in for the bullpen, just brought back from the minor leagues today. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. And Yulieski Gurriel will lead off here for the Astros. Osich has had a hard time in the big leagues this year. He was back in the minors trying to get things put together. And there's a first pitch strike, a changeup, 84 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's been a pitch for him that when he first got called up, he was really good with, and he had kind of lost it a little bit and went away from it. Now he's trying to get back to it.
A little flare in the right center field, base hit. Second hit for Gurriel. That is hit number 11 for the Astros. J.D. Davis will come up now. Davis has not had any hits, but he's been on base twice with walks and has scored both times. Giants do not lately seem to get away with walks. They walk somebody, that guy's going to score. 3 of the 4 walks the Giants have allowed in this game have turned into runs. The Astros bullpen is busy meanwhile. Call the ball. This is Brad Peacock, a right-hander. He was in the rotation a good part of last year and did a great job. This team just loaded with pitching.
Yeah, they've got their starters, their relievers. They strike out a lot of guys. They're best in the defense. They have good offense. I mean, this is a complete package team in Houston.
95-mile-an-hour fastball is too low. Now it's 3-0. J.D. Davis has just been very patient today. Good things have happened for him. He now has walked 6 times. He's only had 25 official at bats, and he's walked 6 times. Make it 7 times. 3 in this game. So 2 men on, and here's Evan Gattis coming up. The Astros already leading 9-2 in this one. Gattis, very powerful. He started the Astros 3-run 3rd inning rally with a double down the left field line. And then in the 6th inning, the 4-run rally, he hit a single. He is 2 for 3 in the game. Former Atlanta Braves catcher, way outside and high. All of a sudden, Osich is just all over the place here. A 4-pitch walk to J.D. Davis after he gave up the blue single to Gurriel. He has not been in the strike zone since.
They got to be careful here because they only have like 2 mound visits left. You can't go out and calm him down. You can't, you know, you almost got to just let him go out there and hope he figures it out. Like he knows he's got to throw that fastball down the zone. He's got to get that changeup over.
The Scribber belled all the way over to get it. Osich covering it. Osich did a great job on that hurried throw. It went behind him and he backhanded it and got his man. The runners advance.
Was a good job. That was close to an ankle blowout too if you're not careful. He ran up the line and Belt kind of pulled him off and he had to kind of almost looked like he rolled his ankle over the bag almost. See that right there?
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Oh, right off the corner of the bag. It kind of skidded over the top of the bag, but he made contact
Yeah,
with
his
it.
cleat looked like it did catch it. It was close.
Runners at second and third. Here's Max Stassi, who's 2 for 2 against lefties tonight. That was against Suarez. Pop foul and out of play. He has 14 hits and 26 at bats against left-handed pitching this year.
See, Bell has to kind of throw off balance, so he's leading him, but you're kind of guessing on the lead, and it just, ooh, yeah, that back cleat caught the back of the
Look where
base.
that ball is. It's
combed it.
And it's 0-2. Stassi walked his last time, so he has not been retired tonight. He has an RBI, double, a single against the left-hander Suarez, and then a walk against the right-hander Johnson. The Astros already ahead 9-2. The Giants infield in halfway. Gurriel at third. And that is all for Stassi. Not this time for him.
But it just shows you how good that changeup is. Stassi hits lefties so well. He's been hitting them well all night tonight. Good at bats, and he throws a power fastball. He locates 2 good changeups over the plate. The key for Osich to be successful at this level is to make sure his secondary pitch is thrown for a strike. His velocity, he's got a hard fastball. He's kind of all over with his fastball a little bit, but he's going to be successful when he can get that changeup commanded, where he can get swings and misses on the changeup.
Here's Tony Kemp. Down the left field line, slicing foul. 0-1. Kemp has had a sacrifice bunt, a 2-run single, and a sacrifice fly. So he's knocked in 3 runs, and he has just the 1 hit. Tony Kemp. Way outside. A ball and a strike. Runners at second and third here with 2 down. Osich trying to wriggle off the hook. That's hit hard to center. That's in there. Base hit. And that's going to get 2 more runs home. That's a 5 RBI game for Tony Kemp. He's having the game of his life out here. 11-2 Astros.
He's done all the damage. The bottom of the order has pretty much done most of the damage here tonight in this game. Pitch here came right back to the middle. Kind of been the issue that they've had the entire game is all the Giants pitchers have thrown a lot of balls that have come back to the middle of the plate, whether it be a cutter, whether it be a fastball, whether it be a slider, changeup. Seems like these balls are coming back to the middle a lot.
Tony Kemp, only 5'6". He's the same height as his teammate Jose Altuve. Kemp, who's been around for a while. He's 27 years old. He was a 5th-round draft choice back in 2013. And having the best night of his career here against the Giants. Kemp out of Vanderbilt University. He was a Commodore. And you pointed it out earlier in the telecast. He's played center field. He made a nice play out there in the first inning tonight. But he was not drafted as a center fielder. He was an infielder. He was a middle infielder when they drafted him in college.
And the Astros don't even feel like he's their best center fielder defensively. You'll see Springer play over there a little bit, but they've got 2 other guys that they feel are better in center field than he is defensively. It's just Kemp seems to be a better hitter, and they were basically saying when I was reading a little bit on him today that as long as he hits, he plays. He's definitely hitting tonight.
Springer deep into center. Jackson Inning over. But 2 runs against Osich. Top of the order, Hernandez, McCutchen, Buster Posey coming up. Jeff Samardzija will take them out against Justin Verlander. 11 a.m. with an hour-long pregame live starting at 10 a.m. on NBC Sports Bay Area. Also streaming live on the NBC Sports app. Don't miss anything about the Giants this season. Follow the Giants on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and NBCSportsBayArea.com. I just want to go home, Dad. What happened tonight? I can't bear to watch anymore. So here is the new Astros pitcher, Brad Peacock.
17 innings, 10 hits, 4 walks, 25 Ks. That's glaring numbers, 25 Ks.
Not usually the kind of numbers you expect from a guy who comes into a blowout in the 8th inning.
25 Ks, 4 walks. That's a good strikeout to walk ratio.
Shallow left center. That's falling, and it was caught by Correa. His back was to us. Beautiful play by Carlos Correa. Wow.
He was a starter a little bit last year, and I think with Cole coming out a little earlier than they wanted him to come out of the game, in a way you could save your pen a little bit by going with a guy that has the ability to throw multiple innings. So it might be a blowout, but they might be also wanting to save the pen and go ahead and let him try to finish this game out too.
Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen's had one of the best hit balls of the game for the Giants. It was caught by Tony Kemp out in center back in the 1st inning. He struck out twice since then. He was way late on that one, although it was an off-speed pitch. That fooled him big time. Three infielders have moved to the left side of second. And that slider low and outside for a ball. This one started to get out of hand for the Giants in the 6th inning when the Astros scored 4 runs. It was 5-2 at that point, and that made it 9-2, and they got 2 more in the 7th. Along the right field line, that is just foul. Springer gave chase, but it was a foul ball, and not by much. 35,638 the paid crowd here at Minute Maid Park, although a lot of those people are heading home early. The Astros having this one well in hand. Softly, there's the second baseman at shortstop. Now Altuve throws it out. So it's an 0 for 4 game for McCutcheon. And here comes Buster Posey. Buster is 0 for 3. Giants' only runs scored in the 5th inning, a walk to Longoria, and then a 2-run homer by Brandon Crawford. Giants have only 5 hits in the game. 2 runs. The Astros, that's just a little below the average number of earned runs that they allow per 9 innings. Can you imagine the kind of pitching that the Astros have had? 48 games, they allowed 123 runs before tonight. The fewest runs through 48 games allowed in 50 years since the year of the pitcher, 1968.
68. That's right, Cleveland Indians.
That was the year that the American League had one 300 hitter in the whole league. Carl Yastrzemski hit 301 and won the batting title. Danny Cater hit 290. He was number 2 in the league in the batting race. Base hit for Buster.
A lot of good pitchers in that era.
Bob Gibson had one of the most amazing years of all time. He had a 1.12 earned run average, and he lost 9 games. Gibson lost. I think he told me he lost 5 1-0 games that year.
Sounds like Matt Cain. He pitched. Speaking of Matt Cain, Hall of Famer yesterday, huh?
The
Bay Area Hall of Fame.
Bay Area Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I have to look for his plaque next time I'm at the airport.
Yeah.
Brandon Belt, a little bloop along the left field line. That's falling and fair. And he'll get a double out of that one. He broke his bat. It was fair by what? An inch and a half. And he gets a double as it bounced into the crowd, an automatic double. Buster to third.
I didn't think the plaque looked like him, though.
I didn't hear any kind of criticism from Matt Cain himself about the plaque, though.
Yeah. I don't think Matt Cain actually looked at his plaque. That's probably why he didn't get criticism.
Here's Longoria, way outside, ball 1. Longoria just grounded out, walked, and scored a run, and grounded out again. The plaque that was not right, Brandy Chastain.
Oh, I saw that. That is bad.
Somebody got confused on that one. That's a called strike with a sinker. 1-1 the count to Longoria.
I mean, I didn't know what she looked like. I saw the plaque. I'm like, why is everybody upset with the plaque? And then I saw a picture of her, and I was like, wait, what? How do you mess that one up? Doesn't even come close.
Going back in right center, Springer, and he gets there. Hit very well by Longoria, but tracked down by Springer. 11-2 Astros. Minute Maid Park in Houston. And Bregman will lead it off for the Astros. Bregman has had 2 doubles and a walk in this game. Has knocked in 2. Josh Osich still trying to get it worked out with that great stuff that he has. But 2 runs allowed in the 7th inning. And the high curveball misses. 1 ball and no strikes. For the Giants, Kelby Tomlinson moves from second base over to short, so Crawford is out, and Miguel Gomez now at second base. And he'll bat in Brandon's spot in the batting order. There's a called strike to Bregman. So Brandon Crawford will get a little bit of a breather. Gomez will be the leadoff hitter for the Giants in the 9th inning. Back out of play. That was quite a play by George Springer. Now Springer, you mentioned how Springer is an excellent center fielder. And there are not many better right fielders than him. And we just saw why. That ball was really clobbered by Longoria. And Springer ran it down. And ultimately, he made it look kind of easy.
He did. And he plays left field, too. It's hard to play all these different outfield spots because the angle coming off the bat is different for each person. Like, the guy in left field sees the ball coming off the bat at a completely different angle than a guy in right field and center field and so on. So to be able to play all those positions and be able to do it as good as he does it, I mean, that's a pretty good weapon to have for A.J. Hinch over there on the Houston side.
And he's one of the backbone players of this lineup. One of them key guys. And he has no problem moving around.
That ball, it kind of went straight up, but you saw it first. He didn't see it right away, but he was able to recover, and he ends up taking a perfect route and catching the ball.
Yeah, at first looked like he actually took a step to his right, and then to McCutchen on the run. On the warning track. Hit well by Bregman again, but into an out this time. 1 away. And Altuve will come up. Altuve hit a 2-run single in the 6th inning, his only hit of the game. For the American League MVP from last year. And that curve is low. Altuve, and in Houston, they're all on the talk shows and whatnot worried because he's not having a real good year. And then I'm looking at the scoreboard. His batting average at the moment is .315. He now has 22 RBIs, but he only has 2 home runs. He had 24 homers in each of the last 2 years. Which is kind of, how many guys 5'6" hit 24 home runs in a season?
I mean, he plays in a ballpark at home for 81 games a year that he can definitely hit some homers, some cheaper ones, but you have to hit them on the road too to get those kind of homers.
Craig Biggio used to hit a lot of home runs in this ballpark. It's almost as if the left field Crawford boxes were made for Biggio. And he really he became a pull hitter in these games at home when they moved over here from the Astrodome. This is a long throw for Tomlinson on a bounce. Too late. Altuve, a very fast runner, beat it out. His 2nd hit.
And he can do that. He can hit homers and he can beat out.
That's how you win batting titles.
Yep. Well, and Tomlinson definitely not going to have the arm that Crawford has. I don't even know if Crawford could have got him out here, but because, I mean, look at that. Right out the box. Look how fast he can run. I mean, he gets going pretty quick.
Hit number 13 for the Astros, and Carlos Correa, who has not had any of them. He is the only Astro without a hit. And maybe in terms of the whole package of talent, he may be the best player in this Astros team, which is saying a lot. They have a lot of good players. But he's been shut down, and they have 11 runs on the board. This is a tough lineup. 2-0 the count. Correa from Puerto Rico. And a first-round draft choice. He was the #1 player chosen in the draft back in 2012. The Astros had lost 106 games the year before to get that first pick. 3-0 for Mosic. And he's big. He's a shortstop, and he's 6 feet 4 inches tall. 23 years old, still learning how to play. And he's had 20 home runs or more in each of his first 3 years and has missed big portions of those years. He gets a walk this time. Putting 2 men on with 1 man out and bringing up Gurriel. His first year came up with the minor leagues, played 99 games, had 22 home runs. Last year, he had the thumb ligament injury. He missed a third of the season. He played only 109 games, had 24 home runs. How good is he going to be when he stays healthy and when this is his 4th year in the big leagues now? He hasn't even put it all together yet.
There's a ton of upside. And you kind of want to try to keep that middle of the infield together. You just signed Altuve to a gigantic deal this offseason. You almost think that Houston would want to try to figure out how to sign him to make sure that middle of the infield stays together for a long time. That gives your pitchers confidence. That gives your fan base confidence. That gives your manager confidence.
Both of them excellent offensive players and defensive players. For a long time in baseball, those were the skill positions on the infield. And teams would say, well, number one, we need somebody who could really turn the double play and has range and soft hands and whatnot. And they wouldn't worry so much about the offense. Well, these are 2 of their very best offensive players. And they don't give away anything defensively with either one of them. Other than that, I'm not that impressed with him. Correa hadn't even had a hit tonight.
Yeah.
Gurriel's had a couple of hits and a foul off the right field line. Giants bullpen is busy. Corey Guerin, a right-hander, warming up with Matt Herges, the bullpen coach, alongside. Longoria to get 1 at second and 2, a double play. Turned by Gomez, the new second baseman in this inning. On to the 9th inning. Gomez and Pablo coming up. from Minute Maid Park in Houston. And here is Rondon, a right-hander, in the pitch for the Astros now. Hector Rondon. And you see his numbers, Jeremy.
Yeah, 1-1 with a 2.30, 15 innings pitched, 15 hits, 17 strikeouts, only a homer allowed. Every guy we've announced coming in for the Astros has a lot of strikeouts. John, they strike a lot of guys out.
More than innings pitched.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
This guy used to be the closer for the Cubs.
Yep.
He's trying to resurrect his career here. 30 years old, from Venezuela. And Gomez up for the first time. He's been swinging the bat well for the Giants. This is a guy just added for a little depth. The guy who's been a closer in the big leagues, who throws 97-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, you know, you have a stacked pitching staff when you got ex-closers mopping up for you.
Bregman, the third baseman, was at shortstop on the overshift, and he throws out. Gomez one away.
But there is something to that, because having a guy out there that has the ability to close out games is super important. And you have multiple guys that can do it. So if anything happens, he at least has that closer mentality. He's done it before. It's nothing new to him.
He had 30 saves as recently as 2015 for the Cubs. And that's right around the time the Cubs got good.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've always thought having multiple closers, even if they're not closing anymore, guys that have had the mentality or who have done it before, is always a positive thing to have in your pen.
Pablo 0 for 2 with a walk. And he's quickly behind in the count, 0-2 here. One ball, 2 strikes, 99 miles an hour on that one. Day game here tomorrow, and that's a morning game back home in San Francisco. 11:10 first pitch tomorrow morning. Austin Jackson is on deck. The Giants 2 runs, 7 hits in this game. 6 of the runs for the Astros against the Giants bullpen. That's a foul out of play off to the left. Pierce Johnson, an inning in the third, 3 runs allowed. Marron to 2/3 of an inning, 1 run allowed. And he also allowed 2 runs to the record of Johnson after he got in there. Osich 2 innings, 2 runs allowed. Giants every 10 days or a couple weeks or whatever it is have a game like this. That's why they've been outscored for the season. 33 runs they've been outscored by so far in their first 49 games.
A lot of it comes down to the starting pitching injury woes. I mean, losing Cueto, losing Bum, losing Smarja for a little bit. Smarja still, I don't think, has caught good rhythm out there. I think he's still trying to find it. Hopefully get Bum back. But when you have a lot of young pitchers and they give up runs early in the game, and they've been that's kind of been almost like they've been snake bit that way. They've given up several runs early in the game within the first 2 innings, and you're always having to come from behind as an offense. It's really tough to do.
And Pablo on the 3-2 count swings and misses. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball up out of the strike zone. 2 down.
Fastball up in his eyes, and that's kind of, Pablo's always been that way. He's a free swinger. He sees it up, he's going to try to go after it, and it's kind of been a pitch for him that he's always kind of struggled with, but he goes after it quite a bit.
You always just say to Pablo, why don't you wait for a good pitch to hit? I can hit that pitch. They all look like pretty good pitches to hit for Pablo, or at least they used to.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that I think he has hit a lot of pitches, because he was one of those kind of guys like Vladimir Guerrero, where he could hit a lot of bad pitches. And so when you have the ability and you know you have the ability to do it, you tend to want to swing at him more often. And now as you get older and things start to change, and maybe your bat speed's not as quick and your eyes aren't recognizing pitches as fast, those pitches aren't so easy to hit anymore. You got to almost train your body to not swing. Tell your mind to not swing at those pitches.
Austin Jackson has struck out, walked and singled. And that is in there for a strike. And it's 1-2. Well, part of the transformation for Pablo, he's very willing to be a role player, a guy on the bench and whatnot. Still a great guy in the clubhouse, but still learning about that role.
Yep. It's hard to hit off the bench, especially a guy like Pablo who likes to play as much as he does. And sometimes those guys do better when they're playing and hitting because they can kind of stay into it. But all of a sudden they have to come off the bench, or maybe they're kind of DHing, they're not playing in the field. It can be harder for those guys to adjust mentally at the plate.
2-2. And he wisely laid off that one. And back out of play. Just poured one in there at 97 miles an hour as if to say, okay, let's see how you do with this one. Talk about a challenge. And you can do that. You throw 99 miles an hour, 97. Challenge him.
You can do, and when you're up 11-2, you can challenge him. I mean, this is a here you go, hit it type pitch. See how far you can hit it.
Strike three called. Perfect pitch there as they shut off some fireworks out by the train tracks. So the Astros just destroy the Giants here in game 1 of the series.
Yeah, I think it was, for me, it was a situation where, Suarez kind of, it's not that he didn't throw ball, he didn't walk a lot of guys.